Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Society of the Eternal Mile podcast. I'm your host, Noah Sias. On today's episode, we're chatting again with Jaime Luna from Blackhand, Lower Depths, Ghost Ritual, and previously of 2x4. If you haven't had the chance to hear his first appearance on the show, you can find it back on episode 9. Jaime, welcome back to the show.
What's going on, brother?
So, wanted to run a few questions your way that we didn't cover on your episode, but have been on the more recent ones.
Okay.
So the staple question for this year has been Warped Tour coming to an end. This year is the end of Warped Tour, according to Kevin Lyman. He's saying that due to low churnouts and an aging demographic, they want to put a halt to the whole full U.S. tour and some Canada dates. What are your thoughts on Warped Tour coming to an end, and is the aging demographic going to be an issue for the rest of us?
See, for me, honestly, I've only gone to maybe like a handful of Warped Tours, maybe even less than that, honestly. So when Warped Tour, I always hear my older friends that are always like, oh, I remember when Warped Tour was just nothing but punk bands and all this other stuff, and now it's just a bunch of like, I guess they call it like college rock and all these like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I started going to Warped Tour, my first Warped Tour, I think I graduated high school already, I didn't go when I was a younger kid or anything like that. So my first Warped Tour, I went and I saw like the Ghost Inside, and I think Scaring Kids was playing the first one that I went to, but they weren't a new band. They were already, I think that was like their last Warped Tour playing, and it's same with Newfound Glory. It was their very last Warped Tour that they were going to play. I had a really good time, but of course it was, you see, like what freaks me out is how, he said that the attendance and how it was lowering and lowering. Every time I went, it was like buku people, dude. Mm-hmm. Like it was a lot of kids, and I thought it was going to be like that forever because everyone always talks about Warped Tour. Right. Everyone, even people that I've never seen at an actual local show talks about Warped Tour. You know what I mean? Everybody goes to Warped Tour. So for it to be coming to an end, I definitely think, obviously that's very heartbreaking for a lot of people, especially because I know a lot of kids whose first shows were Warped Tours. You know what I mean? And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hot as shit every time it's over here in San Antonio. And it's all on blacktop too, but kids dropping like flies, passing out and shit. But, but I mean, it's an experience, man. And, I definitely feel that a lot of future kids are going to be, kind of missing out on that, I think, because whether you like it or not, it was a good time. I think it's going to take effect on the younger kids, I feel. Maybe. Just slightly, though. It's going to be a pinch, I feel. Because that means, hopefully it'll stop the kids from just wanting to go to bigger shows like that and wanting to go to like more underground shows and, local shows and starting to go out there a little more instead of just saving themselves for one big show like that. You know what I mean?
Another thing that was mentioned too on one of our regular episodes is from Stevie James from a band called Fallen Captive. He works at one of the venues in Ohio, up in Cleveland. Technically it's in Lakewood, called The Foundry. And he was saying how he was stoked that like Warped Tour was going to be gone because they wouldn't have any issues finding locals to play at some of these other shows going on during the time that Warped Tour would be around.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Because, I mean, everybody's always trying to, like, doing the battle for Warped Tour, and they're trying to save themselves for the big day and everything. But, yeah, like, of course, finding bands that want to play shows while Warped Tour is coming that week to your city, you know what I mean?
That actually just spurred a memory when we were in Salt Lake City on the Vertebroken tour.
Yeah, dude.
That local, the one local they had, decided that they weren't going to play because they were playing Warped Tour the next day and they didn't want to be tired out.
Yeah, I remember that.
What kind of bullshit is that?
I know. I was like, are you like, what kind of prima donna ass bullshit? Like, I was like, you don't want to be tired out? Like, we're playing every night for like a month and a half straight, dude. Like,
right. And come on. And they're not even a band anymore.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, damn well they got like real jobs.
Yep. So let's get back to some Eternal Mile questions.
Okay.
What's something that you see young or inexperienced players doing with their kits that drives you nuts?
Tightening the shit out of their cymbals, like tight to where it's just like stupid tight to where that thing doesn't even fucking move. Like all you hear is just like a quick crash and that's it. And then they're wondering why. Like, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and you know what, dude? Like, I have friends that do that, you know, and it's just like, bruh, like why are you doing that? Like, it's just, to me, and maybe it's just a myth. Maybe it's just the way that I feel whenever I see a tight cymbal getting hit. But I just feel like you do way more damage to your fucking cymbals that way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like, you know, a lot of cymbals crack easier when they're just being tightened down like that. I'm just like, dude, you need to let those things fly, baby. Like, you can't just tie them down like that. Like, I mean, yeah, obviously you don't want your cymbals to be like floating around everywhere to where you're having to catch it with your stick and shit. But at the same time, you don't want it to just be like you're hitting a fucking, I don't even know, like just something that doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
It's just a solid plate.
You're not trying to make it sound like some weird like effect splash symbol or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to let it ring out.
Giant like 20-inch crash or something. It's just like
yeah, dude. It's just like ding, ding, ding. Like, oh man, he needs to lay low on the bell. Like, no, that's his crash cymbal, man. That's what it sounds like. That's all he's got.
Man, I wasn't expecting you to say that. I was expecting like tearing down on stage or something like that. Dude, that's the perfect answer. Perfect answer.
Like that just, god damn, dude. Every time I see that, I'm just like, I can't, I have to look away. I'm just like, this guy, this is horrific what this guy's doing.
So we talked about the top 3 must-have tour items last time. How about the most underrated tour item?
Damn. That's a good question. Underrated. Damn, a pillow. A fucking pillow, because you know, there's like, I remember Kevin forgot a pillow on one tour. Oh my god, dude, like that poor dude's neck was hurting like every night. He would just fall asleep wherever he wanted to fall asleep, and then he'd wake up and it was just like you can see that he was in pain, you know? And it's like you think like I think I was sleeping on one of my jackets one time, and I was like, oh, this is fine, I'll be good like this. No, dude, like you want a pillow, you want to snuggle it, you want to drool all over it, you know, like come on, dude. Like so I would think a pillow, because comfort is definitely something that you don't find much of on tour, but that's probably like a simple pleasure right there, is having a nice comfy pillow.
For sure.
That's yours. That 2 other guys haven't fucking put their head on after they just sweat like for 30 minutes straight on tour on stage.
Right.
And then they're over here trying to like put their nasty ass, crusty ass fucking head all over your pillow and shit. Nah, that's your pillow.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah, fuck that. Get out of here.
Who are some bands to be watching this year?
I really love Worst Behavior from South Texas. They've been around for a little bit, but they're doing some big things, and they played our Black Hands split release show, and in my opinion, they had the sickest set, man. Like it was just, it went off. I mean, there wasn't a single person in that room that was not moving or getting hit, or it was pretty live. You know what I mean? So definitely Worst Behavior. Shout out to Worst Behavior. Saberwolf from El Paso. They're the band that that Black Hand did a split with. That was actually for that show, that split release show that Worst Behavior played. Saberwolf has also been around for a minute, but they haven't gone anywhere, man. They're not going anywhere. They're not leaving. They're there to stay. You know what I mean? And they are picking it up. They're picking it up every time they put something out. And the songs they put on that split with us, it was phenomenal. They actually opened the split. We're the second half of the split, and man, I could not have. I'm so glad that they actually allowed us to do a split with them. You know what I mean? It was just we played together. We played together. When did I meet them? It was in Houston. We played a show in Houston. And I remember as soon as they started, I like fell out of my chair, dude. They were so heavy, just so heavy, so heavy, and so good, and just down to earth guys. Some of the nicest dudes I've met, and you know when their set at the split release show here in San Antonio was off the chain too, man. Like it was pretty scary, pretty violent. Yeah, it was one for the books, man. They're definitely another band that I would definitely check out if you haven't already, of course.
And lastly, say a band is playing San Antonio and they get into town early and have enough time to, you know, go sightsee or go try something out. What should they check out?
If you want to be that typical douchebag tourist, you can go check out the Alamo like everyone else checks out. The Alamo downtown. I mean, everybody wants to pick with the Alamo. I mean, for what? I have no idea. But, I mean, I guess it's just, you know, it's that thing that, you know, everybody has to see. Because, like, obviously I see it, like, every day, if not every other day, because I live here. So, I mean, the Alamo's the Alamo, you know, it's just the Alamo. But, you know, if you're going to be here, you might as well take a picture with it. Definitely want to check out the Riverwalk and see how dirty it is if you are into that. I don't think it's dirty, I guess, because I'm just used to it. But I know a lot of other people talk shit. You know, like the owner of the Mavericks said that it was was it the owner of the Mavericks or was it Charles Barkley? I don't know. Both of them have talked shit about San Antonio before, and you know everybody made a big deal about it. And I was like, man, it's the Riverwalk. Like it's not going to be no fucking Cancun ass water in there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, check out the Riverwalk. Check out River Center. Let's see, just a bunch of different restaurants there. They're kind of expensive, but I mean, if you want to eat, there's Whataburger still down there. I mean, stuff like that. There's plenty of shit to do while you're downtown.
So let's catch up on your musical endeavors. How have things been with Black Hand and Lower Depths?
Oh, dude, fucking great. Black Hand has put out. We recorded with Chris Mora at Warhorse Studios, and we put out a single, and then we put out the 3 tracks that we did for that split with Saberwolf. And Lower Depths is doing great. We're really close to finishing the EP that we plan on recording, also probably with Chris Moore at Warhorse Studios. We have a few shows lined up. I know like Black Hand's playing with Backtrack tomorrow. We just played with Terror and Knock Loose not too long ago. So we got some pretty good shows lined up with Black Hand. We got some pretty good shows lined up with Lower Depths. We're rolling. We're rolling.
Also sounds like you have stuff going on with a project called Ghost Ritual. What's that all about?
Yes, sir. Ghost Ritual is a project that I didn't think was actually going to take off. I've had this project for about, I want to say, a year with my friends, and I just wanted to try something different. We all decided to try something different with this project. I know Abel, my singer, he's always been a really, really great singer, but this one, he had to change up his style a little bit, but it fits really well. I play guitar. I actually don't play drums for Ghost Ritual. I play guitar. So that's why I really wanted to, change it up a bit. I've never been in a band playing guitar before, so I decided to go ahead and try it out. I love it. We picked up my other friend, whose name is also Jaime. We picked him up. He used to be in a band back in the day called Bloodshed Avenue, and he was also, always a really good guitarist. And it's been years since he's actually been a part of a band or playing or anything like that. And I don't ask me why. When we decided to go ahead and start this band, and Abel and the other guys were like, we should really get a second guitarist. I was like, immediately, he was the first person that popped in my head. I have no idea why. I hadn't talked to him in like a year before that. And I was just like, you know what? Let's go ahead and call this dude up. And what a dumbass. He said yes. So here we are. And then we got my boy Mikey on bass, who's never been. This is actually his very first band. He's never been in a band before. He played a little guitar when I first met him, but he's never played bass. So he basically learned bass to play this in this project, which he's doing really, really well. And then, of course, my boy Ed. He's my drummer. I've been in a few other projects with Ed before, back in the day. but this is the first project that I've been at that he's actually the drummer and I'm not the drummer. And he's the drummer and I'm on guitar and stuff like that. So we all, and it's not heavy. It's kind of like, I think the best way to describe it would be like, I don't even know, man, like Seosin meets Thrice type shit, maybe something along those lines, you know? So we also definitely stepped out of our comfort zones for this one. And, you know, not only am I on guitar, but I'm also, you know, trying to mess around with all these pedals and effects and stuff like that. And I've never done anything like that before. You know, me picking up a guitar, all I do is turn on the amp, put on distortion, and just fucking jam. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like, yeah, this one I'm just like, okay, you know, I have to connect everything right. Which, by the way, I still have no idea what I'm doing. I honestly don't. I'm winging it. I'm winging it. Dude, shit, my drummer knows more about the equipment than I do. Like I'm not even joking. We'll be at practice and there'll be times where my amp just sounds weird and he has to get off his kit and come like double check everything that I set up. I'm not even joking. Like he has to like babysit me because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. and I'm not going to act like I know what I'm doing because I don't. All I know is that this note sounds pretty with this note and I'm going to play those notes. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a guitarist. I'm just a drummer who happened to kind of dabble on guitar. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
baby steps.
But for what it's, yeah, it's baby step, exactly. So for what it's worth, it's sounding pretty good. We recorded with Chris Mora at Warhorse Studios, and he helped us put out a single already. So we also have that out too. It's called Dead Bloom, and it's out on you know, Apple Music, Google Play, YouTube, all that shit. So
sure.
It's pretty cool if anybody wants to check it out.
All right, so let's do a plug for all these projects. I guess we'll call it the Jaime trifecta here.
Okay.
So where can
Sounds
people
good,
find
man.
you guys?
You can find all three of my bands on Facebook. Blackhand is Blackhand 316. Lower Depths is Lower Depths HC Hardcore. And Ghost Ritual is Ghost Ritual Texas TX at the end of that.
Jaime, thanks for coming back on the show again. Looking forward to seeing where things are headed with all your projects.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on again. Nice to talk to you again.
That concludes this episode. Thanks to Jaime for coming back for another episode. Make sure you're following Blackhand, Lower Depths, and Ghost Ritual on social media. I've been your host, Noah Sias. As always, thank you for listening, and we'll be closing out the show with 3 tracks. First is In Your Debt by Blackhand, followed by Evil Lurks by Lower Depths, and the last track is Dead Bloom by Ghost Ritual.
From the devil we came, to the devil we return to win the game.